All right, well, thank you very much for joining us today, Paul.
Nice to be here.
Well, first of all, tell us, how did you first get interested in space?
My dad got me started. He reading sci-fi. I missed Apollo. I was too late for that. But he, when they started talking about shuttle, he and I were talking about some of the design elements of it and some of the engineering elements of it. I'm just a wee pup, and we're talking about building it, and he got me started reading sci-fi and all the TV shows and the movies, but always keeping in mind, we would talk about what was real and what couldn't be real. And he's a pretty hard engineer, and he kept me thinking square, but let me dream a bit too.
Well, when did you start working in the space industry?
Working like for money in the space industry or as a hobby? As a hobby, about 2006, 2005, something like that. Doing some loose concepts, working on some mining and drilling operations, using those for building structures on Mars. And then through that, got involved in the Mars Society. And then I was kind of their chief engineer, engineering team coordinator. I was all of that for the Mars Society for 8-9 years. I was in charge of the 2 outposts they ran. I've been to both Devon Island and Utah. In fact, I spent a year living in Utah and was directly managing MDRS, the Mars Desert Research Station in Hanksville. And I spent just shy of a month at Devon Island working on rehabilitating FMARS for their 4-month-long, what they called the Flashline Mars Arctic Research Station, FMARS Mission 11 LD1, or as they called it, or LDM, as they called it, the Foxy LDM crew. And they were there for 4 months, but that was longer than FMARS had been inhabited, period. And they decided that it really needed some work before then. So myself and the chief engineer for that crew spent just shy of a month there. And we're rehabbing it and making some improvements, actually giving them running water and a water heater that worked, generator, and all these kinds of things to kind of make it the world-class facility it deserved to be. So, and that's kind of how I started working in space. And then through all of that, I saw something that was really impressive to me. I saw a lot of students and a lot of well-meaning amateurs going through MDRS and going through FMARS and doing some absolutely amazing work. I mean, truly outstanding work. And then it was done. And I was like, this is wrong. And I would see them come in and build these structures. And I'm thinking, if you'd only used space-qualified materials, we could have flown this. The quality was that high. I see students coming through with projects that were at or above anything that I'd ever seen in real space operations. And we need to find some way to channel this effort. And so I started thinking about projects that we could use. And that's where OpenLuna came from, is the idea that we could take all of this crowdsourced effort, all of these people doing all this amazing work, and direct it in a project for a particular goal rather than just a random collection of stuff that they felt like doing. And then we developed the OpenLuna Foundation. It's a nonprofit 501c3 in the States and charitable in Canada, and developing them across the world so that we can handle funding for these people and get these projects paid for. Some of them they do as volunteer work. Some of them we got this great project we're trying to do. We just can't afford the materials. Well, then we can assist with that, or help them do the fundraising for their materials, and that's where OpenLuna started. And now the idea behind OpenLuna is we're, as I said, a privately funded open source return humankind to the moon mission, where our end goal is to build an outpost on the lunar surface.